Hello everybody and a warm welcome back to my channel. My name is Miranda Holder, I'm a celebrity stylist and your feel-good fashion coach, and today I'm going to be talking all about the Queen's true fashion legacy. And if I can wear neon green at 90 and look as fabulous as she did, I will be very happy indeed. As some of you may know, besides my celebrity styling and my journalism and TV presenting, I do a lot of royal reporting and commentating in the newspapers and am a bit of a royal fashion expert. So in light of very sad recent events and looking at such an incredible history and legacy that Queen Elizabeth II leaves behind, I thought it only appropriate this week to make my video for you about her. So here we are. As always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up. A like, it means an awful lot. I'd love to hear your comments as well about what the Queen meant to you and certainly what her fashion meant to you too. Please subscribe so you don't miss another. I've got a few very special royal videos coming up for you, and if you turn on that notifications bell, you'll never miss another episode. The Queen's true fashion legacy. So Queen Elizabeth ascended to the throne in the 1950s and she very much embraced the fashion of the time. She was a beautiful, glowing, radiant, fashionable young lady, and anyone who was anyone in those days embraced the fit and flare silhouette that was first made popular by the legendary Christian Dior. And it was all about that beautiful nipped-in waist and a gorgeous flared skirt, sort of A-line skirt that really complemented the female's curves, created that hourglass shape, and this suited Queen Elizabeth perfectly. Her petite frame looked stunning and all eyes were on her. She was the ultimate fashionista of the time. In the 1950s, of course, she also got married. Her beautiful and now legendary wedding gown was designed by Norman Hartnell, her designer, who specialised in incredible embroidery. But he was a little bit surprised when the Queen asked for a leek amongst other emblems to be embroidered into the ensemble. But he did it, and he did a fantastic job, of course. He said to himself that this must be the most beautiful dress he had ever made. And it certainly was the most important dress he had made. And the reason the Queen asked for a leek, amongst others, was because she wanted every single emblem of the Commonwealth countries to be incorporated into the dress. And this was a very early sign of her real talent and panache for diplomatic dressing. The Queen never dressed for herself, never dressed for herself. I think if she had her way, she'd be living in, or would have been living in, relaxed trousers, possibly even riding gear, her beloved Hermes headscarves that she always wore whenever she wasn't wearing a hat that we saw her in, and spending far more time with her horses because we all know how much she really loved those. However, one thing you really can say about Queen Elizabeth II is she had a very strong sense of duty, and she understood from a very early age that it was her role to dress the part. So she understood that her fashion was, if you like, a little bit of a costume. And very cleverly, as time went on, she developed this skill of being a fashion diplomat, of diplomatic dressing, because she really understood that fashion is a language. Clothes are a language without having to utter a single word, which as a stylist is something that I fully believe in. First impressions can be made instantly and you can say so much through your outfit choices. And the Queen really mastered this. She is one of the most photographed women in the world. And as her reign progressed, this became more and more prevalent. So from the 50s, we went into the swinging 60s. Which was a big fashion revolution. Hemlines got super short, the miniskirt came on the scene, and all sorts of experimental fashion led by the inimitable Pierre Cardin, a fabulous fashion designer who sadly died only a couple of years ago now. And everything was changing. But the Queen obviously couldn't join in with this. It was all happening around her, but she was still a young woman and she still needed to look current. So there were minor amendments made to her wardrobe. Her hemlines were slightly shorter, her skirts were shorter, her jackets were slightly boxier, and she still looked absolutely fabulous. Then we have the 70s. Along came the 70s, and with them the advent of colour photography, which slowly but surely took over the world. And this was when Her Majesty really began to embrace colour. And not only for its vibrancy and the ability to really lift her complexion and make her glow. She is a summer, by the way, if you were interested in colour palettes, colour analysis, and she looks best in her summer colours, but she never limited herself to those. She just favoured the brights, the rainbow of colours that she really embraced. Out of all of them, blue was her favourite. Which is very interesting because blue brings a sense of professionalism, calm and control. It's very reassuring. People in the medical professions often wear blue in a bid to help calm down and reassure their patients. People say that, or colour experts say that if you need to do some revision or studying or really concentrate, you can also wear blue because it helps you focus and calm down. So it's quite interesting that that was the colour that Her Majesty wore the most. Vogue actually did a survey a few years ago and counted up all the colours of the rainbow that Her Majesty wore, and blue came out on top. But besides the psychology of colour, the Queen also fully understood the symbolism of the colour, and this was when she really fully started to use it to her advantage, but thoroughly selflessly, to make other people feel great around her. So one of her trademarks would be to incorporate the colours of the flag of the receiving country that she was visiting into her wardrobe. And this has served her so well, to such an extent that she is one of the most loved and popular women in the whole world, as we can see by this outpouring of love and affection for her that we have had since her very sad death. So the Queen really started to understand that she could send messages both to her people and even to her family with what she would wear. So this extends beyond colour through to symbols. So we're going back to the veil again and the leek, which of course is an emblem of Wales. And the Queen would start to incorporate this into her jewellery. So very famously, for example, she wore a maple leaf brooch twice when she went to visit Canada. Which was just a way of recognising and paying her respect to the country she was in. Throughout her life, she would also pay more subtle tributes to her family with what she was wearing. So one example of this was at Prince Philip's funeral, and in the mourning period afterwards, she would frequently wear a dark green colour, also known as Edinburgh green, which is actually the military colour that Prince Philip would wear. So it was a way of remembering him and paying tribute to him, again without saying anything. So then along came the 1980s, and with them came Lady Diana, soon to be Princess Diana, who caused a huge media whirlwind. She was magnetic, she was a style sensation, instantly became a fashion icon, and the Queen was often compared to her unfavourably and referred to as frumpy at that part of her life, which I don't really think is fair. I think it was the least successful part on the fashion front of the Queen's reign, but she was going through a bit of a transitional period at that time. She was maturing from a beautiful young woman into the more mature matriarch that we really know and love her for today. Then came the 1990s, and Angela Kelly joined the Buckingham Palace fold as the Queen's dresser. And Angela Kelly decided that the Queen needed a little bit of an image revamp, and so recreated her look into something more sleek, something more contemporary, vibrant and colourful, and really worked with the Queen, who did take a very active interest and role in fashion by this point, to create what we now really know as the Queen's style uniform, which is that rainbow of monochromatic outfits. It's always a beautiful dress coat with a matching dress underneath, with her beautiful matching hat, her gloves, her trademark Lorna handbag, which we now know actually contained marmalade sandwiches thanks to the Paddington sketch, if you saw it. If not, I'm going to try and put a link to it in this video, because that was a wonderful part of the Platinum Jubilee celebrations over here in England, in case you're watching from another country. And Paddington Bear is an institution. Right down to her sensible block-heeled shoes and then her matching umbrella. You always knew what you were going to get with the Queen, but although critics might say her look was somewhat predictable, others would say there was comforting familiarity, stoicism, confidence, and something very reassuring that throughout the turbulent times in history and throughout her reign, there have been many, the Queen's image would stay fairly similar. And certainly for the last 20 or 30 years, her image has been very much cemented, to such an extent that if you close your eyes and picture the Queen, you do think of her in her beautiful trademark rainbow monochromatic outfit. So in some ways, it could be said that the Queen was a bit of a power dresser, not in the big shoulder pads, 1980s dress for success kind of way, but in the fact that she almost weaponized fashion, as in she used it to communicate whatever messages that she needed to carry across and enhance her general status as a fashion icon and as sovereign. Her look has been honed to perfection over many decades, but the one thing that has remained a reassuring constant is her famous shampoo and set, which is almost exactly the same to the hairstyle she had when she ascended to the throne. However, one very modern fashion aspect to Her Majesty's fashion legacy is her Queen Elizabeth II Award that is awarded by the British Fashion Council every year at Fashion Week. And in fact, Queen Elizabeth did attend this herself the first year and famously sat on the front row, next to Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue in America. That, for me, that's total life goals, and she'll always have my full respect for that. And talking of respect, apart from those sandwiches in the Lorna handbag, which I thought was fabulous, and that amazing James Bond sketch that she did for the opening of the London Olympics over here, when she got to play opposite the very handsome Daniel Craig and pretend to jump out of a plane, which was just incredible. Another very memorable fashion moment for me is the Queen wearing neon green, bright neon green at 90. And if I can wear neon green at 90 and look as fabulous as she did, I will be very happy indeed. So that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That helps me so much. Leave me a comment. Also, let me know if you'd like me to do more of this kind of royal video, as I have a whole wealth of information that I could share with you if you would like. I find it fascinating. I hope you do too. Thank you as always, and see you again next time.